Hey everyone, welcome back to Teenager Therapy. I'm Gael.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Kayla.
And welcome back to the podcast. First podcast post-Halloween. Hope everyone had fun in your parties. Hope you didn't go too crazy in all of those post-Halloween ragers.
But also, I hope you did.
Literally.
Yeah.
No, because like...
Send us pictures.
Literally videos.
Dude, it's probably like a long week if you really went at it. Because it starts Friday,
Thursday.
Saturday.
Actually.
No, yeah, for some it starts Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you have Monday if you're really brave. Because, you know, it was a big week. And
Yeah.
it's kind of the last big party weekend before it's all about family and friends. So it's like really
Boo.
show out, go out, all out. But I mean, if you're like us, sometimes at every party you're like seeing your friends do some questionable stuff, and it really might get you thinking like, should I stop them or should I let them do their thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is the topic of today's
That is
episode.
amazing. He did it again.
I did it again. That's the topic of today's episode. Like, you know those times where those friends that constantly keep asking you for advice, or even that don't ask you for advice, but you just see them like doing some shit that you've gone through and you're like, that's not a good idea. And you try to tell them, but they don't listen. So it's like, do I keep trying to talk to them, or do I just let them do their thing and be like, okay, like it's your fucking life?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I never know what to do.
I think in the past, I've had a lot of experiences where I would continuously tell my friends, or even like sisters or whatever, I would tell them like, don't do this or do this, whatever the case is. Like I would just give them basically the same advice periodically. It'd be like 1 month, a few months later, same advice. And eventually it just got to the point where it was affecting me. Like it wasn't no longer like me just giving them advice and being like, okay, you know, like I hope you get through this. Now it was like I'm getting irritated. It's like affecting me. It's like starting to become my own problem, really. And so I think after having just experienced that so many times, now I feel like I'm the opposite, and sometimes I think it's a bad thing because I can recognize like when my friend is doing something like they shouldn't be doing, but I know, and of course depending on the person's, like I know that even if I were to say something, they're still going to do what they want. So I'm not going to spend so much of my energy and just like create anxiety for myself worrying about their problems that they're not even worrying about themselves. So it's like I've just reached that point where it's like I'll tell you like maybe once, but after that it's like if you need something in an emergency, then tell me. But it's like it gets frustrating sometimes if you're like saying the same thing and you're not seeing anything happen. So sometimes you just have to protect your own peace.
Yeah.
Kayla said it all. That's the podcast.
That's the ending.
Like,
Thanks
so
for
much listening.
No, but also like there does come that guilt of like, should I be saying more? Should I be doing more?
Oh, that's a never-ending battle with me.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I always like, I'm either really, really, really like protective of my friends and I want the best for them, or I like just like completely disassociate myself from like the situation and I'll just pretend it's like not happening so I don't have to get involved. But I don't know. I always don't know. I'm like a relentless person where if I see my friends doing like questionable shit and like I don't want them to like hurt themselves or anything, I'll do everything in my power to like stop them, even though there does come a point where like they're gonna do it. Like they kind of have to see it for themselves,
Yeah.
for them to fully understand like why it was so bad in the first place. But
You know?
yeah, I don't know.
I feel like I remember in the past, and like in high school, I remember that I had a habit. I definitely had a habit of just like constantly trying to like give people advice on their issues and be like, you probably shouldn't do this, because they would ask me about it. Like I remember when Mark and I used to be close in high school, he would always like ask me for advice, and I would give him advice, but then he wouldn't take it. And then I'd give it to him again, and I was like, Mark, you really shouldn't do this. And then he'd do it again. And so like I remember like just constantly telling people, like giving people advice. Sometimes it was asked for, sometimes it was like not asked for at all. But eventually I just like got so tired of it because I was like, you're not even listening. Like, you're not even doing like what the advice that I'm giving you. You're not. Are you even taking it in? And so I just kind of realized it's not. It's really not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. You people rarely have the power to make other people change. Like, it really is always up to them, and there's very little that you could say or do to help them change. Like, the only way that most people change their pattern and behavior is by making a mistake that they regret and realize like, oh shit. And that's when you come in and be like, yeah, that was because of this, don't do that. And they're like, oh my god, you're right, because now they see the consequences of their behavior. So I used to really, honestly, I still do, I have a really bad habit of nagging people that are really, really close to me. And like, this happens in relationships and in close friendships where I would like give a lot of unsolicited advice. And like, you really, you know, like if I see someone that isn't taking care of themselves, like whether it be their health, they're not eating, or maybe they're not getting enough exercise, or they're not fucking like doing their work, or doing things that whatever they're supposed to be doing, they're not doing. I really have a habit of like nagging people and be like, hey, you really should do this. Like, have you done that? Do you remember to do this? Like, have you tried doing this? Maybe you should try doing that. And it's so hard for me to stop doing that because it's so frustrating watching someone not do what's good for them. And it's even more frustrating when they say they're going to do it and then they don't do it, which is why I feel the need to remind them. But it like gets me, like, I get what you mean by like it becomes your own problem, because I get so stressed out that they're not doing it, because I was like, but you said you were going to do it, so why aren't you doing it? Or just in general, I think it's a really annoying trait of mine that I'm trying to have less of, and just be like, it's your life, I'm not responsible for it, your issues, whatever you got going on, like, it's not my problem. I'll support you and I'll be there for you, remind you once or twice to do whatever it is you need to be doing that you're not doing, but I can't keep going out of my way to constantly try to be that reminder for you, because it gets really toxic. Because it like what I end up feeling in a lot of my relationships, it's almost like a parent child relationship, where it's like you're like parenting them or you're like nagging them, which is annoying for them and it's annoying for me. So it's like a lose-lose.
You do have a savior complex.
Oh, yeah.
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 It shows.
It does show.
But at what point do you guys like are on the receiving end? Like, have you ever had friends tell you like, don't do that, but you're like, I'm gonna do it anyways? Because I've done that before.
I think
sure.
everybody has like done that, and that's why it's like I can't even be like fully upset with like me telling the other person my own advice, because it's like I've been on the other end and people are telling me like, oh, you shouldn't do this or you should do this, and it's like I don't do it, you know? So it's like I can't be too hypocritical on that aspect. But yeah, for sure. I don't remember anything specific, but I know that I've done it. Yeah. And I know it's frustrating too, because it's like it can be disrespectful sometimes, you know, if it's like somebody's telling you again and again and you just essentially choose to ignore it, I guess you can say, as harshly as it sounds, and just do your own thing. But
like, as long as I'm not hurting anyone, if I am doing it, like, unless it's to myself, like, if I'm not hurting anyone else, then it's like, okay, I'll have to see it myself. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, that's the only way.
But
like,
what if you, like, hurt your close friends' feelings by not taking their advice?
I think that was the question I was trying to get at. Like, at what point do you, like, listen to your friends and then sacrifice your own wants for your friends?
That's the thing. I think that, like, I think most people are, like, inherently selfish, self-serving, which makes sense, and it's not, like, really a bad thing. And I think most of us will put ourselves first and, like, our wants first before someone else. At least that's how I see it. Like, I've been trying to figure out that same thing. Like, you know, if someone... I think the way that I see it is I know that I would probably put myself first if I, like, really, really wanted to do something and I felt like this is something I want to do, and it's like someone is like, no, you shouldn't do that, like, it's probably going to be a mistake, but I'm like, but I want to do it, and, like, it might hurt me, but I feel like I have to know it. Just have to figure it out on my own. And so because I myself know that I tend to be selfish in that way, I like am more forgiving of others when they're selfish because I'm sympathize with them because I'm just like, okay, I would do the same in that situation. So
Yeah.
I can't be too mad about it, I think.
I think if you're on the receiving end of that, it's like you just have to trust that the other person truly knows what's best for them and that they're just going to have to learn through experience.
Yeah.
I think that's like the main thing too. It's like,
That's hard
it's
to
just
accept.
learning through experience because it's like, as you know, so many people tell you like, don't do this because it's going to lead to this. Like I've been through it. So it's going to happen with you, but it's like you yourself have to see it through in order to like confirm that.
You really do.
Because it's like, I am guilty of that. It's like, I have to do it myself so that like, I know for a fact that, you know, it's going to lead to this or whatever.
That's the most common, like the most common case of that happening is toxic relationships. Like when you
Oh my
know
gosh.
a relationship isn't supposed to be happening and it's like everyone's getting hurt, it's not right. And even though you're telling your friend like, you really shouldn't be in it. Like, you really shouldn't. Like, this is so bad for you. At the end of the day, they have to see it through.
Yeah.
And they have to learn for themselves, like, how hurtful and, like, how much is just not right for them.
It's so frustrating, though,
Exactly.
because when you see your friends putting themselves in bad situations, dangerous situations, toxic relationships, or even just being in a toxic relationship with themselves and their habits, 'cause you know it doesn't matter how much you tell them not to do it. They're gonna and they have to learn on their own. But it's just so like you feel the desperation that like you should at least try, right? Like if you see someone that's constantly, let's say, fucking drinking or something, constantly doing some sort of drug, and you're like, it's kind of a problem. Maybe you should stop. They might be like, okay, you're right, but then they won't actually listen. And it's not until they themselves hit like their lowest point that really like our job as a friend, your job is just to tell them once or twice you probably shouldn't do that, just to get it in their mind. And if they keep doing that, let them hit probably like their lowest point, and then once they reach out for help, like you just got to be able to be there to help them back up because they got to fall down on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question is that, like, when do you ever think there's a time for when you have to step in where like, because there's always like that argument where like that wasn't your place to do it, but like also who was gonna do it? Like if that friend wasn't gonna step in and like help them out, then like what was gonna happen? So that's something to think about. Like,
Oh yeah.
I can't really think of like any specific scenarios of that happening, but I know that happens like every now and then, and it's like
It's not
like
your place.
like this friend wasn't in the wrong necessarily because they were just trying to help, but like I get why like the person would be mad because it wasn't their place to do it, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that line is always so blurry and it's easy to cross. Not really looking for an answer, just kind of food for thought. Food for thought, guys.
Yeah.
No, all of these are just like tricky situations to be in because
Yeah.
it's like you obviously you don't want to see your friends like suffer or whatever the case is, but it's like they're just doing
When
it
do
to
you step
themselves.
in?
Exactly.
Like when do you step in?
I don't know.
I honestly hate when people are like, it's not your place.
Because it's like, well then who's
But also,
Like, it just
is
feels
kinda
wrong.
valid. Like it's like it really isn't your place. Like it's that person's life and
It
it's
just
their
feels
decisions.
irresponsible.
Yeah, it does
feels
feel
so
irresponsible.
irresponsible. Like if you see someone doing some fucked up shit to someone else, hurting someone or doing something, and you go like, a common example is like if one of your close friends is cheating on their significant other.
Yes. Okay. This is a good example. Okay.
Yeah, right. And you tell
I
like,
think that was the one I was thinking about. Like, was
yeah,
not-
this one's so common. And my friend literally just asked me like, if I was cheating on my girlfriend, would you tell them? And like, what I said was like, I think if I knew their girlfriend and I had like, had some sort of, if I had at least talked to them, if I was like friends with her, specifically, especially if I was friends with her, I obviously would tell her. Like even if I'm friends with both of them, I would tell her, of course. And even some people are like, oh, it's not your place. Like in that case, it absolutely is because both people are my friends. But like if let's say I have my friend and then his girlfriend, but I don't know his girlfriend, like would I still tell them? And that's when I was like, I could see that not being my place, but that also feels wrong. But also it's like,
Yeah,
do I want to get
exactly.
involved in that? Like ultimately, that's not like, if I have my own issues going on, do I really need to step in?
You know, it's I feel like even if I did know their significant other, like as a friend, I don't know if would tell them.
Oh,
Like I would have to know their partner like really well. Like we're like really close, which is most likely not the situation. But I don't know if I would tell them because
It's so stressful. Like
It's
for
like-
it to come from
like-
you, it's like
you have the relationship in your hands, and in a way that's not your place.
yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, what do you do?
I don't know. I would just
yeah.
I would first
I
thing
don't know.
just urge the person.
Yeah.
I hate no, it's like just like urging the person, but oh my god, I hate cheaters. And like
Yeah.
whenever I do know someone else is like being like unfaithful or like is like literally cheating, oh my god, I want to tell the other person so bad, and it's like I can't, like, because it's not my relationship. Like I
Exactly.
can't, but like I just get so angry and I'm like, oh my god.
And you just feel sad for them because you know, like,
I know what's happening, and even though I'm like, you need to tell them, they're like, yeah, no, like, yeah, I will, and it's like not happening.
Oh.
Then that's when I think you step
Okay.
in. Like if
Yeah, I
you're
agree.
telling them and they're like, I will tell them, but they don't tell them, that's when you gotta step in.
The least you can do is a warning.
Yes,
And
a warning. A
After
warning.
that, it's like if you don't see anything happening, you have to take matters into your own hands. And they
Yeah.
did it to themselves. So
Exactly.
you
That's
can't,
the thing is like,
you can't
why
feel
am I
too
protecting
guilty.
you?
Yeah, exactly. If you gave them the chance, like the bare minimum, like just a chance to come clean, and they decide not to take it, then that says more about their character, and
Exactly.
you know the person does not deserve
Yes.
them. So
Yeah.
that's true.
yeah.
It's like, I think for me, like, I say that I wouldn't tell them because it's not my place, like it's not my relationship. Do I really want to get involved in that? But I would feel so bad for the person getting cheated on that it's like, I feel like I would feel so guilty, and it's like, might as well just end it now, tell them about it, but anonymously. Oh, but then
Write a letter.
write a letter, a new account, on
New account. Hey,
Instagram.
girly.
Hey girl, I know we don't know each other, but
Anaheim Gossip Girl.
for real, there's a gossip girl going around. I don't know. It's like, it's a difficult situation, and it's like, I don't like, okay, like for now, right now, if Thomas was in a relationship and he was cheating on his boyfriend, what are we doing?
I mean, what we just said, I would like obviously tell him like you need to tell your boyfriend like soon, ASAP, next time you see him.
And he doesn't do it.
Then I'm gonna be like, okay, I told you, but like I can't hold it in anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's like,
I feel like that's the clear way to do it.
and like obviously it's like, if I ever was in that scenario, which I will never be, but like if I ever was, it's like obviously I would be offended, but I also wouldn't have a right to be offended. Like you
Yeah.
warned me, so how can I get mad about that? Like
That's crazy. I don't know.
I did that to myself.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's difficult. Like, it sounds so easy, but in retrospect, you could totally, like, the person that, you know, you in this case could totally be like so overwhelmed with anger, hurt of the heartbreak of knowing it's over, that you're like, Kayla, you ruined everything.
I never wanna
that
see
makes
you
sense.
again.
Like I get why like I would be angry, but I have no right to be.
And eventually you would probably come down. Like, the person probably would be like, eventually be like, you know what, like, I let go of the feelings. You were right. Like, I was in the wrong. You were just looking out for me. And, you know, I feel like eventually that's how it ends. So
yeah.
I don't know, to call cheaters out or to not do it. I'd say do it. If you could
Give them a
handle that.
warning and then do it.
Yeah, give them a warning and then do it. No, but for
Mm.
real, that whole thing about like helping friends and stuff is so frustrating to me. Like I said, it's like a really bad habit of nagging people with like,
Wait, I have a question,
yes,
but it's like I'm like trying to formulate it in my.
formulate. Take your time.
Okay.
It's like if. Like the scenario that we were just talking about, like let's say Thomas.
Why am I the cheater?
No.
I was the one who's actually cheated.
Let's
Sorry,
switch things
you're the
up for a
cheater.
little bit. Guys, please. We were doing so good.
I think okay.
But like for example, let's say Thomas got like so mad at me, right? Like for telling his boyfriend, like so mad, like I never want to see you again, blah, blah, blah. And then he eventually comes down from his hiatus and he's like, I'm sorry. Me as a friend, like, do I just accept that?
No, what the fuck?
So I would just never be friends with you again.
Basically, it's like, because I mean,
That's harsh.
Exactly. That's scary
pretty hard.
too.
That's
why
scary.
people don't do it, yeah.
yeah, but like,
It's like, okay, like, at
would
that
you want to
point-
be friends with someone who's like,
A cheater.
who's a cheater and like doesn't feel sorry about it at all and like is getting mad at you for like being a good person?
No, but I'm telling you, like, they come down from that and they're like, I completely understand what I did was like wrong, blah, blah, blah. But it's like they did it in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, as soon as I know someone's cheated, and I know it's like, I know, like, once a cheater, always a cheater is not true. It's not true.
It's not true.
I can't help but just be like, you cheated. I don't know. Like, I really do not know. So, I don't know.
And that's, I mean, that also, like, I guess it brings up, like, just the question, since you're talking about it, is like, is that, like, it's like the Try Guy situation.
Very
right?
niche.
Right? Like the dude fucking cheated on his wife. Everyone ended their relationship with him, their friendship with him. So is that worth ending a friendship over? Like, if you cheated, you don't tell your boyfriend, you don't want to tell him, and then eventually the relationship falls apart, whatever. Like, as a friend, you just be like, damn, you're like a cheater. And is that worth ending the relationship over? Is that just completely like...
I think so. I mean, dude, okay. I think people like often mistaken cheating as like something that just kind of happens. Like, you have to deliberately betray someone's trust in like the worst way possible. Like, cheating doesn't just happen. You are making a distinct decision to cheat, like, every time. I don't give a fuck. Oh, I didn't know. Like, no, like, whenever you cheat, you did it. You knew what you were doing. It happened. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like people tend to be like, well, but like, it wasn't really cheat, or like they didn't know any better or something like that. But it's like,
no. It's more of just like, yeah, let's say you cheated. You totally cheated.
Mhm.
You know, you're a cheater.
I feel like it shows their character, and that,
Really?
like, I don't know. I don't know.
'Cause I don't know if I would end the friendship over that.
Me too.
That's why I was like, I never.
Too. I think I completely see what you're saying, Thomas, but it just seems
I see
so
what-
hard.
You know what it
because
is?
it's like
I see what you guys are saying.
No,
because
because-
it's like the thing is like it's I think like outsider's perspective, it's so easy to be like, oh, if he cheated, then I'm not gonna be his friend, like point blank period.
Right.
But it's like completely different when it's
when
like
it's your friend,
when it's your
yeah.
actual genuine close friends involved. You know, it's like
Because I think cheating isn't always about character. I like you are a betrayer of trust. You are like this backstabbing person. I think oftentimes it's also just like bad discipline, bad impulse control.
I agree.
Like, it's like
I agree.
it's like if you fucking
Obviously, that's not the only.
not the only case. Some people
Yes,
are like
of
genuine,
course.
like don't have any empathy, don't give a fuck about people's feelings. But like, if someone cheats and they're like, it was a lack of judgment, like, I did fuck up, like, I'm sorry. It's like, you know, like,
I don't know.
some people fuck up in different ways. Some do drugs. They like get addiction. Does that mean they're like a terrible person that doesn't care about like the people around them and how it affects them? No, they just have bad impulse control, bad, you know, whatever it might be. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't think I definitely wouldn't think I would end the relationship over cheating
I agree.
if they like show remorse.
I don't know. I think because I was like cheated on,
Maybe
like,
you're
personally,
biased.
I might be biased. So that's probably why. But it's just like, why are you in a relationship in the first place if you can't control your impulses? Like, if it was like a lack of judgment, there's like, what the fuck? I don't know. It's hard for me
Yeah.
to, like, I think already it's hard for me to think that any of my friends would do that, because to cheat is a decision. Like, at the end of the day, it's a decision you make. And to make that decision, I think you'd have to be like a pretty bad individual, I guess. Not bad individual, but like, I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but
I think like bad choices don't make you a bad person.
yeah, okay. And I completely agree, but I don't know if I would want to associate with someone who like knowingly cheated, or like obviously knowingly cheated. Like, if someone cheated, then it's like, I don't know if I could do that, because
I
I
get it.
myself
Yeah.
was cheated on, and like, it's just like so frustrating. Like I can't fathom why cheating could ever happen. If you're not happy in the relationship, if you're not satisfied, break up and then get with someone else. Like, there are just so many ways to not cheat. And people act like cheating is something that is so hard to like avoid. It's not. Like, everyone can not cheat. So that's why I'm like, for you to cheat, it says a lot about someone's character. And I don't know. I feel like maybe I need to be put in that situation where my friend cheats, and then I'll be like, okay.
So I think I could.
Yeah, so I guess I would have to see it for myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But let's hope you don't see it for
yeah,
yourself.
that's why I don't. Yeah.
That's crazy because it's like, that's basically saying like, if you cheat, you should lose all your friends.
I'm not saying you should lose all your friends. I'm just saying it says a lot about your character.
Right.
And that judgment of character can lead to anything. And if that means cutting off a friend, then so be it. But not everyone thinks that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just, for me personally, as someone who
That's true.
has like seen what cheating has done to myself and to others, it's like, fuck you. You know, like
Yeah.
like, no, you don't deserve friends. Obviously you do. Whatever. It's a subjective question, okay?
Yes.
Like, everyone has their own thoughts about it.
And based on their experiences, their opinions are formed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I am biased. Don't listen to me, but I'm just sharing
Yeah, that's
my
true.
side.
You don't associate with cheaters, as we're in a podcast together.
I said I wouldn't want to.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's fair. No, it's true. I mean, yeah, like I guess friendships and like what ends it and that just kind of comes down to what's important to you. Fuck, I don't know, the getting your friends to like fuck up. I mean, to me, I think, since the topic is just like, do you let your friends fuck up or do you try to stop them? Ultimately, I think it's like, what friendship is to me is like, you go through your mistakes together and push each other to grow. And that's the whole point of it. It's about forgiving, like seeing the good in your friend, knowing they have done bad things and choosing to accept them anyways because of the constant desire to grow and do better. So in that sense, I think that's how I see it.
And I completely agree.
Mhm.
I just think that there are things where
And that's okay.
like-
That's okay.
it's
That's
like,
okay. No, that's my opinion.
bad things are just sometimes too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But that's my opinion. I think in general, I don't know. I can't tell if I'm a forgiving person or I just forget a lot of stuff. I saw this tweet. That was this one fucking tweet that I just saw on my timeline, and it was like, and for context, I don't have ADHD, or at least I don't know if I do. But this tweet was like, the fucking like, sometimes ADHD is like not knowing, like being so proud that you don't hold any resentment, but it just might be because you forgot what people did to you. And I'm like, that's so interesting. And I think I have a problem of really forgetting like everything bad, which is also why I'm like tend to be a little bit more forgiving, because I forget the feelings in the moment. So if you have friends that like did something bad, or people, or you feel a certain way and you catch yourself repeating your behavior, try like journaling, putting it down in your fucking journal. And I know every solution seems to be like journaling or some shit, which is kind of funny.
It works.
Maybe because it works, right? Maybe cliches are
Yeah.
cliches for a reason. But like, write down the feelings and the emotions you felt during that time, because you will forget those things very easily. So you got to come back and be like, oh, this is like why I don't give advice to this friend anymore, because the last time I did, they did the opposite of that.
Yeah. I mean, time heals like a lot of things, and it's like, even though I said all that stuff about like fuck cheaters, I'm like sitting next to one right now, and it's like, and we have a good relationship, so I don't know. Maybe I just like, I don't know. I think time can do a lot.
Self-realization.
I
The
don't
5
know.
stages agree.
All seen in this episode.
It's just
This is gonna be an assignment for one of you guys. Like,
Complicated.
It is.
so
I don't know how to
complicated.
explain it. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it either. Like,
it just is.
it just
it just is. And also, I feel like Gael and I are in a very like specific circumstance,
It's
like
almost
like a podcast, it's just like
it's like this is
makes
what
it really
happens
hard.
when you force two people that don't want to be together to like sit together and keep talking and just deal with the feelings every single week. Like, it's so difficult. It is so hard. But I hope and I think we'll eventually reach a point of like
where we don't.
it's just like you get bored of the negative emotions. It's like you get bored. You just
yeah.
get like, I don't like, you just don't care anymore because it's like exposure therapy. Like fucking
To
exposure
the negative
therapy.
thing.
Yeah.
To the negative thing is like I've been exposed to Thomas so much that I'm just like, oh my god, like okay, like we get it, I'm over it, and that you joke about it and that like lightens it up.
That's true. I think Gail and I like joke about our trauma, like the trauma we like put each other through all the time. That it's like, I don't know.
It just helps.
strengthens
It
the
helps with the
relationship.
tension.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I don't know. It has been such a weird thing to experience.
Because like being forced to have a good relationship with someone is like so weird. Like I have to have a good relationship with Gail, or else you guys wouldn't be listening to this podcast. You know.
Yeah, and so
Food for thought, guys.
No,
Have you guys ever
yeah.
thought about that?
yeah, it like part of that has definitely like just, this is off topic, but part of that has shaped like the way that I approach like other negative emotions. Is that maybe I should just keep thinking about it over and over again. Eventually, I just get bored of it. It just takes a really long time, but I think perhaps it might be like the only way to get like true peace is because like it truly doesn't affect you.
I think
at one point.
I think it just goes to show that you do have power over your emotions. It's just how much you want to give it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I always used to thought that like my feelings were like super uncontrollable, and like if I'm upset, I'm upset. But like also, I don't have to be upset if I really didn't want to. So yeah. Maturity. Yay.
I know. Look at your growth. Imagine saying this like a few years ago.
Fuck no.
Oh my god.
I was too angry for that.
Yeah. It's so, oh my god. Yeah. I need to do like a listen back of the podcast.
No, we
Holy
don't.
shit.
No.
Yes, we do actually. Yes, we fucking do.
I'll listen to it when I'm like 30.
I wouldn't even want to. Like,
I'm so excited for that.
really?
I'm so
You guys
excited
would
to
actually listen back?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would watch the videos
I
with
don't know
my
if I
kids.
can.
I would watch the vlogs. Like, it's our whole fucking
Oh, the
youth
vlogs
documented.
definitely. I still rewatch the vlogs every once in a while.
That's different though.
It's not.
But because oh my god, sometimes I just said this on another podcast I was in, but I like I feel so worried that someone out there is listening to my 15-year-old self giving the shittiest advice, saying the stupidest things, and like thinking it's like worth telling. Like,
But
that
also,
scares
like,
me.
I feel like that goes for any age.
Everyone.
Okay,
Any
no,
age.
it's different because it's published. It's not just you say it and it's like, oh, whatever.
But that's what makes the podcast.
Literally.
I know, but it doesn't change the fact that it's is
out there.
scary as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
imagine this. Imagine 15-year-old you
Giving advice
having
to like thousands of people.
having a platform and like people just listening to you. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, it's pretty
That's funny when you
insane.
put it like that.
That's why I'm like, whenever people are like, oh, I want to listen to podcasts, I'm like, listen from newest to old, not oldest to new, because I don't want you to know 15-year-old me and 16-year-old me and 17-year-old me is probably okay, but like everything else is like
I just have to trust myself that I was giving good advice at the time, and even the thing is that's
As
why we
good
like,
as advice that like a 15-year-old can give.
and
like,
if you think about it, it was probably simple. And simple usually does the trick. And we weren't technically even giving advice. We were just kind of like being like, I think maybe like I tried to do this.
I know, but it's just like,
It is
why?
It's scary.
Why was I out there saying all that?
Ooh, good for us. Good for us.
Coming of age, for real.
Yeah, for real.
Literally.
Like, oh my god. Don't nag your friends. It's not worth it. Don't nag your significant others. It's not worth it either. I think
their problems are not yours.
their problems are not yours, really. And if I think a good rule is like, if you find yourself nagging your friends a lot, nagging your significant other a lot, is that really someone you want to be close to? Like, shouldn't you just want to meet people instead that are already kind of like,
No, there's shit.
you don't need to take care of, like that you don't feel the need because you're like, wow, like
Yeah.
You're responsible. You have your stuff together. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
Because I feel like if you feel the need to have to like take care of people,
Then you're
then
above them.
what?
You're above them. You're on, not above them as in like you're better, but you're stop.
The wording just caught me off guard a little. But yeah.
You
He just
are-
had to get off his chest.
No, you are at different stages in your life, in your personal development, right?
I was just gonna say that you just need to find people that like you don't need to take care of.
Exactly. That's the thing. People that match your where you are in life.
And
That's
not
what I
only
mean.
that, just like people that you can trust to make mistakes that aren't like so serious.
Yeah.
You know?
Or even just trust that they'll recover, that they have their
Exactly.
shit together. And I think, damn, that's a good realization. Maybe that's the reason I like nag. I feel like I have to nag a lot of people in my life. Like maybe I'm just friends with
immature
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being friends with immature people is like tiring.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Because then it's like you're their parent. You're like their
Exactly.
guardian.
That's it. Just oh my god, this is oh shit.
Yeah, I was gonna come back friendless after this.
No, for real. I'm gonna come back bitchless and
I don't have my
friendless.
shit together. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like it's true. Like if you think about it, like when I've had a couple of friends, like maybe like one friend where he like was at the same point in his life as mine, that I was like, oh, you have like all the, I like was so shocked that they had all these good habits, and I was like, there's nothing for me to nag you on. Like you're like, and actually like I feel kind of intimidated now. Like I need to do better.
Mhm.
That was a crazy feeling. So yeah, look at your friends, look at your significant others. If you're constantly nagging them, maybe you might be like at a different point in life, and you got to find people that can meet you where you are instead of trying to like push everyone up with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shit.
We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Fuck cheaters. So like it was like a fucking trip in the middle of the house.
Yeah. I don't
Oh my
know.
god.
That was good. That was a good episode.
It was just from the heart.
It
Like,
was.
I'm
I felt the
sorry.
passion, like
felt
middle
it.
finger and
It was
all.
personal. It was
the acceptance right afterward.
because it was personal, guys. I'm sorry. It was like
Yeah.
it was real. It was raw.
That was so
Hit
real,
close to the
man.
heart.
It hit it's hit a little too close.
Has
Okay.
Be Real ever gone off during the podcast?
It went off like 30 minutes ago.
Oh,
It
wow.
has happened during the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Sorry.
I would hate that, but yeah.
Wow, no free pro. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Yeah, thank you all so much for listening. We actually just got nominated for a Shorty Award.
Woo!
That's a Whoa, Shorty Award? Or is it short award?
Shorty.
Short-
Short.
Shorty Award. It just feels
Yeah.
funny, like
Shorty.
shoddy.
It's
Shorty.
like social media, right? It's like social media.
Yeah.
award.
So we
Okay.
got nominated
Oh,
for
I
a
didn't
Shorty
know that.
Award. We're a finalist in the Shorty Awards for Best in Mental Health and Best in Podcasts.
Oh.
And I have to agree.
I agree,
Yeah.
right? You know what's kind of cool? Out of the best podcast, we're like the only independent podcast. Everyone else was made by a big studio.
Oh wow.
So we're for real doing like we did some shit like all on our like not all on our own. Thank you to our team, but independently of a big network, like a radio network that like is known for producing
Yeah.
podcasts. Like we did this shit just talking and like being so fucking
It all-
real.
it all
Really, thank you
started-
guys.
Yeah.
Like
In sophomore year of high school.
Literally,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
we're fucking audio producers. Like I realized, like I could,
That's a big word.
dude. If I like, I was like, holy shit! I have seen people that have accomplished less than me brand themselves like very professionally, and I'm like, whoa, they're so professional. And then I realized, like, I'm technically like we're on the same level.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're an award-winning audio producer, director, fucking.
Well, we are
podcast host.
award winning.
We're an award-winning.
I never thought about that.
Dude, we're
Yeah.
award-winning
Get
audio
used to it.
producers. That's
Okay, just like the word producer is
Yeah.
like throwing me off because I'm like,
but
I
that's
don't,
what we do. We
I don't
produce
produce
the podcast.
anything. I just talk. Like, what do you mean I produce?
Yeah, we plan the episodes. We talk. We got a fucking system in
Yeah.
place. We have a brand. We're award-winning podcast hosts,
Wow.
audio producers, featured on Times 100, Next, New York Times. Had Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Let's stop. Let's
We're
stop.
Okay.
honorees of the Gotham and Variety Awards.
I
and
can't
we-
think too much about like how much we've done because then it's like makes it real.
Oh shit! Yeah, let's think about
And
that.
the more it makes it real, I'm like, oh shit.
yeah.
What do I do? But yeah.
So the camera died, so you guys can't see us anymore. You'll see
Oh.
Kayla.
Okay.
No.
Kayla only. So, anyways, we'll end it there. If you guys, you could vote for us. If you're listening and you like actually fuck with the podcast, which is kind of crazy that like you
I
guys
hope you
actually
do.
like us.
Are you hate listening to us?
Yeah,
my
for
God.
real. How many of you are listening to it? No, if you
It's
like
Mark.
us,
I'm just
That was
joking,
so,
y'all.
like, out of pocket.
I'm just joking. It was a joke.
But yeah, I agree.
thank you all so much for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. I'll put the link in the description if you want to vote for us in Best in Mental Health or Best Podcast. Could you imagine if we win that shit? That'd be crazy. Like,
We will.
we're gonna be like Emma
I
Chamberlain when she won and she was like, thanks, I guess.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Was that a shorty? I don't remember.
I think it was actually.
Oh, fuck.
Recreate.
Anyways,
Oh my god.
thank you so
Oh
much
my
for
god.
listening.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.